everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is Literature on the Rocks.
It's been a while since we did that.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year. Welcome to the 2026.
Yeah,
Wow.
technically our very first episode airing in 2026 because the last one was on the 31st.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Feliz
Año Nuevo.
New Year.
Yes. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions?
I don't subscribe to those.
Aside from like the typical ones that people typically want to do, right? Like, oh, I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to do this. Those are, I feel like that's my resolution every year.
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
follow through on it, but it is. So I don't count it because it's a lifestyle now.
Yeah. I don't usually pick New Year's resolutions anymore. I just do my word of the year, which is like just everything in my life. I kind of want it to be fill in the blank, one word. And I have not come up with a word yet.
Way to go. We're already in the new year and you haven't thought of a word?
I normally pick like 3 goals for the year.
What are your goals?
Yes. Do you have your goals?
Yes, I'm going to be consistent going to Pilates this year.
Okay. I like it. I like consistency.
And I'm going to try to read more books than I read in the previous year.
How many books did you end up reading?
42.
Oh, yeah?
I want to try to hit 45 this year.
All right.
That's
That's
good
a
one.
number. That's a high number.
Yeah. And that's 2 of them.
Waiting for the third one.
I want more work-life balance this year, and I'll be working towards that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Typically, my husband and I will, at the end of every year, talk about what our like financial goals are for the next year and our like family goals for the next year. And so that's sort of what we have going on. We spend that whole year trying to align with those 2 to 3 goals financially.
That's good.
Yeah. Stressful because I'm the one that's always thinking of the goal. Like, do you remember this was on our goals for the year? And now it just forever lives rent free in my mind for the whole year.
Yeah.
Pressuring you.
Yes.
Can't buy that latte.
Your
I have
husband's
goals.
like- your husband's like, ooh, I'll take 2 lattes.
Yeah. He's like, what goals?
This is decaf for the baby.
He's like, wait, we had goals? No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think we started that like, I don't know, maybe right after we got married. We talk about it at the end of every year. So far, we've been pretty good at reaching them, I think. We've missed a couple, for sure. Such is life.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? You win some, you lose some, you know?
I mean, I have reading goals. I finished 50 books this year, and I want to increase it as well. I don't know if I want to do too much more than that.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like almost a book a week.
I know, and that's why I think I want to increase it to a book a week. But I also
there's
don't
some-
know if I want to commit to that.
I know, right? Don't look at my Goodreads goal. It's going to read like 37 just so I can fucking make it.
Give yourself a really easy goal that you know you do.
I did 15.
Yeah.
I'm done in February.
My goal is to just make sure I've read the books before we record them. I feel like that's fair.
You easily, you get 24.
Easy. See?
I do feel like that's a good goal. That's where I was at the beginning of this year. Was I just wanted to read 2 books a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
good
I
goal.
definitely do that for now. I'm ahead for 2026 already. So I will definitely do more than our podcast books, but not much more.
I think my goal last year was 36. Try to read 3 books a month. And I did.
that's good.
Ended up doing 6 extra. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's on record now, so
I know.
we will have
That's why I
to
was nervous about
see.
saying it out loud. I was like, oh. Well, do we want to
Let's get into
this
it.
book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're reading Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Here's your bio. So Shelby Van Pelt is an American author whose debut novel, Remarkably Bright Creatures, became an
we love a debut.
instant New York Times bestseller, right? I didn't know it was her debut novel.
Neither did I. We never know.
We never know. We don't actually pick
we
them.
Get to here.
Yeah.
And we're like, what?
We're like, wow, this is really on brand for us.
Every time. What a shock.
But it really is. Some of these books that are their debut have been.
They're just so great.
They're knocking them out of the park.
Like setting the bar so high because if
One day we're gonna be like, no, that makes sense. Debut, yeah.
Oh, it was a really good book. Yeah, it must have been the debut novel. So she was born and raised in the Pacific Northwest, and she grew up fascinated by aquariums and sea creatures, a love that would later inspire the unusual but unforgettable perspective in her first novel. After graduating from Claremont McKenna College and spending nearly a decade working as a financial consultant, Van Pelt decided to pursue her creative side more seriously, writing flash fiction, short stories before tackling her first full-length novel. The seed for Remarkably Bright Creatures sprouted in a writing class assignment where she was encouraged to write from an unexpected point of view. She developed the story over several years, ultimately publishing the book that has sold millions of copies, spent more than a year on the New York Times hardcover bestseller list, and earned accolades like the 2023 McLaughlin Estman Stearns First Novel Prize.
Wow.
What an award.
What an accomplishment. The people are like, oh, yeah, what awards did your book read? Oh, the
MES First Novel Award.
At the end of the year, I'm going to assign you guys an award. It's going to have 17 names.
Oh my God.
Van Pelt now lives in the suburbs of Chicago with her husband and 2 children, where she balances family life with her writing and frequently engages with readers online. When she's not writing, she's herding cats, wrangling kids, and indulging her long-standing curiosity about the natural world.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Shelby Van Pelt. All right, so I'm going to hit you with a book summary for Remarkably Bright Creatures. The book follows Tova, a woman navigating deep grief who finds solace working the night shift at a small-town aquarium, alongside an observant, a witty octopus who may be the smartest character in the room. As their lives gently intersect with others in town, long-buried truths begin to surface, revealing how connection can arrive in the most unlikely places. This is a book about grief, healing, and second chances, told with so much compassion that you don't realize how emotionally invested you are until it's too late, at least from my experience. It's cozy without being boring, tender without being corny sometimes, and quietly devastating in the best way. This is the kind of story that reminds you that even the smallest, strangest connections can change everything.
I feel like that was a great non-spoiling summary. This cocktail, we're calling it the Quiet Tide. It has 1.5 ounces of gin, 3/4 of an ounce elderflower liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce lemon juice, a splash of soda water. You stir it, and then you drop a 1/2 ounce to a 3/4 ounce orange juice so that it goes to the bottom. And then you top it with about a 1/2 ounce blue curacao. Now, we are not mixologists, bartenders. And if you've seen the video of us trying to float that blue curacao, you'll know it's not definitely something we really are keen to do. And we're kind of in a place that is limited with its resources. Yeah. So we had only a giant ladle of a spoon to try and
We served that float.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's tart.
That was a lot tarter than I thought it was going to be.
Really? With lemon juice and...
Yeah, but normally we
juice
put lemon
and-
juice in and it's just like a little hint of citrus in there.
Oh.
But that is...
There was a lot of orange
Tarty.
juice, or a lot of lemon in this one, I feel like.
All right.
All
I
right.
don't know how I... Do we like
I'm not
it?
sure how I feel about it yet, but I think it's going to, as it goes down, I'll be like, you know what? I do like this, I think.
I think I like it.
I kind of like the
I don't
citrusy.
dislike it. I will say it's going to be a hard sell for me to truly enjoy liquor today.
Oh.
Had a little bit of a liquor-filled night. And my stomach's not in love with it right now. But I think it's good. It is definitely tart.
It's tart and gin forward.
It's been a minute since I've had gin, and it is very, distinct in your beverages. Mm-hmm. I used to get down on the gin and tonic.
Gin.
Yeah.
We can't say the rest of that.
No, we can't. All right, let's get into these chumpity chump. So we're going to start off this book, Chump, starting with chapters 1 through 12. Title of the very first chapter is Day 1299 of My Captivity. And immediately you are in a chapter where the narrator is a giant Pacific octopus named Marcellus. Which every time we have a book that has some sort of animal or some like weird narrator, it's like, what did we get into? Especially because
Seriously.
the first time it ever happened was not my favorite book. So I'm like,
it was a wild ride.
It
an
was a wild ride.
octopus. Oh goodness.
Usually they're cats, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. We meet Marcellus, the giant Pacific octopus, who is stuck in an aquarium. He introduced himself. He mentions a plaque that is like describing his species and his habits because he's in this aquarium. So it has some information about giant Pacific octopuses. And then it talks about his expected lifespan, which is 4 years or 1,460 days. This is the average lifespan of a giant Pacific octopus. Okay, so then the next chapter you start hearing from, which it's not like narrated by the characters, but it is talking about their lives. So
it's a third person perspective.
Yeah. So it's not like you're in the mind of Tova. You're like witnessing Tova's life.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only one who really narrates is Marcellus.
Marcellus, yeah.
And then it's like, zoop.
And he's not narrating every chapter, though.
No.
So some chapters are through his perspective, and then some chapters are just
An overview.
an ominous or
Yes.
omni-narrator.
Omnipresent.
Yeah, there we go. You're right.
Third-party
The person that's
narration.
like
Yeah.
God speaking down over the story.
Yes, exactly. We meet Tova. Tova Sullivan is an elderly cleaning woman at Soul Bay Aquarium. She's reflecting on her late son, Eric. We don't get a ton of details in this chapter, but we do know that she has a son who's passed away. She greets the aquarium animals as part of her nightly routine. She's cleaning the aquarium. That's her job. Like, as she's cleaning, she loves the giant Pacific octopus tank. But she like talks kind of about how people, like, he hides and people are impatient. And she kind of sees his little tentacle. And she moves on. He doesn't want to be bothered. So she moves on. And as she's cleaning, she like notes, why is this break room such a hot mess? And what's happening over here? And then she starts moving things around. She's cleaning it. And she sees Marcellus he's wrapped up and tangled in the power cords. So she unplugs it and she frees him, imagining that she's like letting him go. He's going to go back to the tank. But he like reaches up and wraps a tentacle around her arm and leaves these small little round marks from his little
Little
suckers.
suction
he like
cups.
hugs her with his tentacle.
Like a thank you hug.
Yeah. And then he goes off and gets back into
Gives her a few little hickeys.
Yeah. After finishing work, Tova goes and sits by the ocean, imagining Eric beneath the waves. Marcellus, back to his point of view, he's reflecting on aquarium food. He's got, I don't know, did you guys listen to the book or did you read it?
Listen to it.
I just listened to it and I just loved Marcellus's voice. It was very like distinguished. He's smart. He's an octopus. They're like super smart, intelligent creatures.
Some of the brightest of the sea.
Yes. And so he's talking about how they don't feed me very delicious, delectable food in here. And but the shark have to do nothing and they get the best of food. And so his food is unsatisfactory. So he sneaks out at night and he sneaks out through this tiny little sliver in the tank because he has no bones, so he can. He sneaks out and he steals food from the other tanks. Recently risked death trying to steal Terry's leftovers until Tova saved him.
Yeah, he was like out too long and was running out of air.
Back into Tova's life, Tova meets with her friends. She calls them the Knitwits. Mm-hmm. They were formerly a knitting group, which is cute. Friends notice the marks on her arm, and she lies, saying it was a cleaning accident, like she got hurt. But they're concerned about her still working such a labor-intensive job at her age. They offer financial help, but it's not like, oh, we'll just give you money. It's like, you don't have to work. If you're concerned about finances, we can all help you. And she's like, almost like, well, it's not about finances.
I got more money than all you bitches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. She's like, I just want to
Stay busy.
Keep my mind fresh, keep doing things with my body.
Body, yada, yada.
Which I don't think they actually say, but I do think she's like in her 70s?
She is older.
She is older, and she's a widow, and she doesn't really have any because her son
passed away, so
she
it's
doesn't
just
have,
her.
And so they're all concerned about her.
Yes.
Just doing the most.
Yes.
When really she's doing much better than
Most
any of the
them.
friends.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So then she has this, they're having conversations about their families because the holidays are coming. And one of the ladies is like, they're not even going to come for Christmas. And I can't believe it. What kind of daughter or son or whatever did I raise? So they're just having this conversation and complaining about families, which triggers these memories. And she starts to reflect again on Eric, who was presumed dead by suicide, but she has never believed that was the story. He was 18 years old when he passed away, and she thinks there's more to the story. But
Well, he like disappeared. They don't have a body to bury. Like he's gone.
they like found his boat and stuff, though, right?
Yeah, they found his boat out on the ocean, but they don't have. They never had him or like proof. Like this is like we know emphatically what happened to him.
Right. Yeah. They know that he's
Gone.
He's
He was
gone,
lost
and he's
at
most
sea
likely in
at
the
some
water
point,
somewhere, but
potentially.
their theory is that he took his own life and drowned himself basically in the ocean. But she just is like, it doesn't fit his life. He wasn't depressed. He wasn't all these things that they said. At least that's not what I remember of him, right? Or what I knew of him. She returns home after hanging out with the nitwits and she hears a voicemail. Then she gets a call, which she was kind of expecting. It's her brother Lars's retirement home, and she doesn't even have to listen to it because she already knows he's passed away. Marcellus, back to his point of view, explains how he escapes his tank, squeezing through a pump opening, and he can only survive 18 minutes out of water. He describes nearby tanks and food sources, the wolf eels, the sea nettles, the rimid worms, and the sea cucumbers, which he loves sea cucumbers, but those are some that he can't eat a lot of because they'll notice. So he's very meticulous about what he likes, but he's also very cautious of what he's eating because he doesn't want someone to fix the little hole that he can get out of so he can't go out and get it anymore. As he's talking about how he gets out, he talks about like, because he has 18 minutes, he knows exactly where to go, how to do all the things. Like he's done this every night for a long time. And he talks about like, you might be wondering why I don't just prop the door open. Well, I tried to do that once and then the stool slipped and closed the door. And I spent all this extra time out hunting. So when I came back and saw it, the door was closed and I spent all this time trying to open it. I nearly died. Like I could feel the effects or
like the color draining from him.
Yeah, he definitely pays for being out of the water for 18 minutes, but anything more than 18 minutes, there's really severe consequences. So he doesn't do that anymore. And then Marcellus asks the reader to keep his secret from Terry. Cameron Castmore is a new person we're being introduced to. He gets a phone call and his Aunt Jean needs him because the owner of the mobile park is yelling at her and telling her she's got to cut down some sort of tree or plant. So he goes there to defend Jean against her landlord because there's a snake inside that bush. And she's like, Jerry Sue has never heard that. She doesn't name like Jerry Sue, but so anyways, so Cameron kind of has this trivia knowledge. Like he can remember all kinds of weird facts. And so he tells him, like, what did she say? The lady said, I saw the snake blink or something like that at me. And he's like, well, that's definitely not true because snakes don't have eyelids, right? Like she didn't see him blink, whatever. So Cameron reflects on Jean raising him after his mother abandoned him when he was about 9 years old. Jean had once lived in a clean, stable home before selling it to pay medical costs after an injury. Cameron recalls school friends Elizabeth and Brad, who are now married together. They were like the three musketeers, but Elizabeth and Brad got married to each other and now they're expecting a new baby. Cameron never knew his father. Jean doesn't know who he is. Nobody knows who the father is. And the mom, disappeared a long time ago. So Jean tries to give Cameron a box of his mother's belongings, but he refuses because she left me. Why would I want this box for my mom? Mm-hmm. Back to Marcellus's point of view, he's placed in anesthetic liquid for an examination. He remembers once fearing it, but now he enjoys the sensation. Terry, the aquarium owner, and Dr. Santiago weigh him and he's gained a bunch of weight and they're like, this is abnormal for an octopus. Have you guys changed his diet?
Yeah, like an octopus in captivity.
Yeah.
Like that's odd.
Yeah.
You feed him the same thing every day, the same amount. How is he gaining weight?
Yes. So Terry has to check on Marcellus's diet to make sure we didn't make any changes to it and figure out how he's gained all his weight. Tova shops at Ethan Mack's grocery store. Ethan, who is like this super Scottish. Yeah, he's very Scottish. Scottish, and he owns this grocery store, and Tova goes and shops. She is talking to Ethan, and Ethan offers condolences for Lars's death. Tova recalls her strength, which he loves, like gossip, Ethan. So as she kind of notes, like, I didn't tell you that Lars died, so obviously you've been talking to people.
And it's like small town, so everybody
Very small town,
knows
yeah.
everybody's business at this point.
So Tova recalls her strained relationship with Lars after Eric's death. Ethan offers help if she needs anything. At home, Tova hears a noise. She finds a stray cat. She like brings it in. She feeds it some leftover casserole, which is one of the many that she's received after people heard about Lars. She's like, oh, it's terrible that it would go to waste. So she feeds it to this cat, and now the cat basically is hers, and she names it Cat. Now we kind of go and we're listening to like Ethan's story. He takes a smoke break, and he's definitely worries about Tova shopping alone and kind of just being alone. There's some fog, and the fog reminds him of Scotland, where he left 40 years ago for an American woman who later ended up abandoning him. It's like so sad.
Yeah.
Like
His
they
story is really sad.
Yes, like they rent an RV camper and they go across America in it, and they have this great time. They decide to get hitched and they get married, and then the RV breaks down and he can't get it fixed. And we got to figure something out. They go to sleep, and the next day she's gone. It's really sad. So he's like, women suck.
But not Tova.
Not Tova.
Not Tova.
Not Tova. But that's one of the reasons why he's not willing to take a risk on
Like asking
pursuing
her out.
her or doing anything, because he definitely has feelings for her. But these American women will break my heart. So he's worked as a longshoreman and then later bought the Shopway grocery. He remembers how his sister was killed by a drunk driver, because there's like this car driving out all crazy, clearly drunk, and he gets a little bit nervous that Tova might be on the road right now, but he's still wary of pursuing romance again. Back to Marcellus's point of view, he's reflecting on loneliness and the lesser creatures in the aquarium. He really doesn't have anyone to talk to. He considers human secrecy and the ocean's secrets. And then he hints he's keeping one particular secret. Back to Cameron, he's forced to keep a box of his mother's belongings because his Aunt Jean doesn't want him to go without it. There's stuff that's in there that represent your mom, and I want you to have it. So he sits with it. His girlfriend, Katie, confronts him about not working. So he's like home. He's lost all these jobs. He can't keep a job, and he's hiding it from his girlfriend who he lives with. And she comes home, and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at work. And he's like, oh, it's
About that.
yeah, he's like, it's the construction worker day. Nobody has to work. And then you can hear like construction guys working on the apartment next door. And she's like, you got fired, didn't you? She leaves, goes to the dentist, and comes back and just starts throwing his crap out the window and tells him to leave. Brad, his friend, picks him up, and Cameron feels bitter seeing Brad and Elizabeth's successful life. He plays the victim a lot. Like,
Yes, he does.
oh, my mom left me, and I don't know who my dad is, and you guys had all this stuff given to you, and you don't know how to work hard and what it's like to have my life, and right? And it's like, no, you're late to work all the time, so you got fired. That's not on anyone else, or the hand you got dealt, right? That's on you. He plans to ask the local bartender, Al, about renting the apartment above the bar. He also learns Brad is leaving their band, which is called Moth Sausage.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Which is so funny, and which I don't remember how they came up with it, but he's been in a band for a long time, and Brad, who is the lead singer, is leaving it because they're having this new baby. Yeah, so due to the new baby, and obviously Cameron's all upset, and like, without the lead singer, there is no Moth Sausage. She's like, you guys can still go and have shows and stuff without me. And he's like, you're the lead singer. You are Moth Sausage. It doesn't work like that. So Marcellus, back to his point of view, he's observing human fingerprints on his tank glass, and he talks about how they're unique. He compares their uniqueness to keys.
And then we jump in to chapters 13 to 27. Back in Tova's perspective, she meets her late brother Lars's attorney, who asks her to go collect his shit from Charter Village, which is the retirement home he was living in. She learns the attorney found her through Ethan.
Freaking big mouth, Ethan.
Talking to Marcellus, because she's at work cleaning, and she's talking to him through the glass about her brother and the retirement homes. And then she later confronts Ethan and asks him for a ride to Charter Village. Like, you said you wanted to help, so drive me there. I need to collect my brother's belongings.
Because she doesn't like drive on the freeways. Like she just
She doesn't
takes
really drive much
her
at all,
normal
yeah.
route every day and doesn't veer from that.
Marcellus then reflects on seahorse reproduction versus human dependency, and he describes a game he plays with humans, appearing and then disappearing when they bring their friends over. And he finds most humans to be predictable except for Tova. Then we jump back into Ethan, and he's picking up Tova to go to Charter Village. He's nervous and self-conscious. He's like trying to stir up conversation while they're driving, and she's just like,
let me.
She's doing a crossword while he's driving. She goes and collects Lars's things and tours the facility. She's like, maybe it's time for me to sell my house and accept my old life here. And Ethan is surprised. It's her first visit. He's like, you're getting a tour you've never visited? And she's like, no, why? So she returns with a box and secretly takes an application form. Back in the aquarium, Marcellus solves a latched crab box test very easily, unsettling the doctor and Terry. And he reflects on being more intelligent than other creatures and what a burden it is that there's nobody as intelligent as him inside the aquarium. Then back at Cameron, he's looking for a charger around his friend's house. He's like digging in their kitchen drawers, and then like pregnant friend Elizabeth walks in like, what are you doing? And she criticizes his lack of plans and his moth sausage sweater because he's wearing band merch. And so he explores his mother's keepsakes and finds jewelry, and he's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna sell this. He also finds a Sol Bay high class ring and a photo of his mother with an unknown man, and he's like, is this my father? Back with Tova, she's reminiscing in a park with a crossword. She loves a crossword, always has one on her, and she recalls Eric's love for Blondie. She meets Adam Wright, who went to school with Eric, and at home, she considers Lars's things. She saves his robe and finds a photo of him sailing with Eric. And she's really looking at his box of stuff like, how sad that your whole life is just summed up with this box of random things and a robe. Tova's chatting with Barb at the hairdresser about Lars and Charter Village, and at the aquarium, Terry expresses condolences and asks for her to clean windows for the 4th of July. Terry shows her a clamp meant to stop Marcellus's escapes, and Marcellus signals Tova, and they shake hands. Like, she reaches into the tank, and he wraps his little tentacle around her, and he returns her house key she lost years ago. Well, I guess she didn't lose it, but it's a key to her house.
Fell somewhere in the aquarium, and he's acquired it since.
So Marcellus explains his hoard of human objects, and he recognizes Tova's key from a corpse at sea, and he wishes he could bring her all of the man's possessions, but settles for returning the key because he found the key in the ocean before he was captured. Then we jump back to Cameron, and he's at the bar trying to rent the bartender's apartment, and the bartender's like, no, you have an open tab that you haven't paid for months. Why the hell would I rent you the apartment so you could not pay me more?
Right.
So Cameron shows Al the class ring, and he's like, hey, I got money coming. Like, I'm going to sell this jewelry. I can afford to live here. And he plans on going to Sol Bay to find more about his parents. And he researches and discovers the man in the photo with his mom is Simon Brinks, who's a wealthy developer. And he's convinced Simon is his father. And he plans to confront him for money, not family. And he books a flight to Seattle. So Tova lets Kat in through the broken screen, and she talks with Marcellus about Will and regrets about forcing Eric into a summer job. She falls off of a stool while cleaning Marcellus's tank. The stool breaks, and
It's like the step stool,
she
right?
breaks.
She breaks.
Marcellus retrieves the missing stool piece for her because she's like trying to figure out where the hell the piece went, and like Terry's gonna be upset. I have to replace this stool, and so he slips out, grabs the missing piece for her, and she realizes like, I've hurt my ankle pretty bad. She waits for days. She's like elevating her ankle, and she's like, I can't put weight on it. It's not getting any better. So she reluctantly books a doctor's appointment, calls off work without explaining she still has not reported her incident. Her workplace injury.
Workman's comp incident.
But wasn't it like she was kind of doing something that she shouldn't have been, trying to reach into
Marcellus's
I
tank,
think she was trying to do something for Marcellus,
Yeah.
and she didn't.
She didn't
So
have to
she's
say
like, I
that.
don't
She
wanna
should have said
admit.
that I was on the stool and it broke. Anyways, Cameron arrives in Seattle. He loses his luggage with all his mother's jewelry inside. And as he's like trying to figure this out, they're like, your bag is in Italy.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I was like, why couldn't I have been in that bag.
Seriously. Then he meets this guy, Elliot, who is like also lost his luggage. They're kind of in the same boat. And so they're going to file a claim. But Elliot is like talking and annoying him and he won't shut up. He's like, Elliot's just trying to be his friend, and Cameron is very sad about himself and losing his jewelry and thinking about all the money he's losing. So he calls his Aunt Jean, and she loans him $2,000, which is typical. She's always loaning him money.
She doesn't even think about like, I might not get, I'm just going to give you $2,000.
Yeah, and this money was for like a cruise.
Yeah, a
that
cruise.
she's been saving up for all her life. It's like her bucket list vacation. And she's like, I need that for my cruise. And he's like, I will get this back to you. Hopefully.
She doesn't like make him feel guilty or anything. There's no strings attached. It's just like
Aunt Jean just pulling through, never even asks.
Yes,
Yeah, but she's going to
he
put
knows.
herself aside.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Elliot knows. He's like, hey, I know someone who's selling like a camper van situation. And he's like, I'll give you a ride home and I can take you to my friend and you could check it out. And then if you want, you could buy it. Then
yeah, this is a
hotel
random
and
guy.
car.
Yeah.
It's a twofer.
Yeah.
So then we jump back to Tova. She's at the doctor who tells her to take 6 weeks off. And the nitwit Janice brings a casserole. These nitwits and their casseroles. So Janice, the nitwit, brings over a casserole and a cell phone. She's like, this is for emergencies. Because Tova's like, what is this technology? I don't want it. I don't have it. So Tova drops the casserole because the phone starts ringing. And she's like, oh God, what's that? And drops the casserole.
Oh, yeah.
And then she spends the evening reflecting on family and Will's death.
Will, her husband.
Will, her husband. And Tova fills out a charter village application. Cameron ends up buying the rundown camper and he finishes his trip and winds up in Sol Bay. And he's at Shopway and he meets Ethan, who feeds him some free breakfast because there's a kid there who's working. And he's like ignoring Cameron and just kind of doing not a great job. And so Cameron's being very high and mighty and complaining. And Ethan's like, oh, I'll comp your breakfast for you since he's such a little dipshit. Like, go finish stocking. He's like yelling throughout the shop for him to go do stuff. He sits down and eats with him and they discuss music and Cameron search for his daddy. And then Cameron returns to his van. His papa, and finds that he has a flat tire. Ethan comes outside to introduce himself properly. It jumps to Marcellus, and he's like, yo, my tank glass is being nasty. Where is Tova?
Except he's very...
Distinguished about it.
Yes.
Proper.
Foulness of my glass.
But he has like a deep voice.
Yes.
Like a...
The foulness of my glass.
You sound like a
I
grandpa.
was going to say, you turned into an old man. I mean, he is technically. He's about to die.
Oh, yeah. He is like 100.
He explains that he has
It's 4.
it's like 1,299 divided by 365. Marcellus explains he has 3 hearts, and he note his organ heart skipped when Tova fell.
Oh.
He was nervous for her.
Yeah, and he hopes that she'll return soon.
I immediately liked Marcellus.
I did too.
So we jump into chapters 28 to 39, and Tova recalls the night that Eric died. She's having this like flashback. She was at an exercise class when Eric died, and so later on she was with Will, and she learned that the next morning from the police that he had actually died at sea. And she reflects on her childhood at home, built by her father. There was an attic filled with like Swedish heirlooms because she's Swedish. She's kind of reflecting on her childhood, on Eric's death, and just all of the things. And so after Eric's death, they have all of these house repairs and decisions about selling the house come up, but they decide, you know what, we're going to stay. We're not going to sell our house. We're not going to move. Tova falls asleep beside Kat and dreams of being cocooned by octopus tentacles. Which is an odd line to think about because it's not sexual, but I do think of...
They just have this love for each other.
Now we jump to Cameron's perspective. He's at Ethan's house while the van is being towed. Ethan offers him to like, you can stay here. Ethan offers for him to stay, and he asks Ethan about work. Ethan refers him to the aquarium. Cameron fakes an application with Ethan's help because he's got awful work history.
No, but Ethan's also like... He's like, oh, I'm friends with everybody here, and Terry's going to think it's hilarious. Write all of this ridiculous stuff on your application.
Yeah, because he had nothing good to put on it.
He didn't really have much of an application,
But he like
Ethan
makes
really,
him sound like he was a doctor in another aquarium somewhere.
Well, he turns
thinks it's gonna be
in.
a good
there's some
time.
weird things on there. Not
Yeah, I
just,
don't
like-
remember exactly what they were, but He turns in the application with all of this bullshit on it.
Ethan swears, it's okay, you already have the job, you're a friend of mine. Doesn't matter, this is a joke.
And Terry like kind of is reading this application and he's like, what is all of this?
Like clearly you lied on your application. Goodbye, Cameron.
Yeah, thank you, but no thanks. Eventually he kind of reluctantly hires him as maintenance help to cover for Tova because he's like, you know what? All right, fine.
He's like, I'll give you this chance. I only need you for 6 weeks right
now. Like we'll let you work because I need help. Because my maintenance girl is gone and I'm going to need somebody. So Cameron gets rejected when calling Simon Brinks' office. He calls him a lot and he's trying to like get him to have a meeting with him. I just
want an appointment with Simon Brinks specifically.
Get me in FaceTime with this guy. And they just kind of reject him every single time. And Aunt Jean texts her pride in him for securing a job. He tells her like, oh, I got a job, you know, and she's like so proud of him. Like, oh my God, look at you go. So then Marcellus sees Cameron at the aquarium and assumes he's Tova's replacement. And he finds Cameron's walk oddly familiar. He's like making these comments about like, that's weird. Like he kind of strikes me like somebody I know or somebody I've seen, or he's got all these similarities, but he hasn't quite put his finger on what that is yet. And so Cameron struggles with the job. He is not very detail oriented. So he's kind of just walking around like half-assing the clean and doing whatever.
He hasn't been held accountable for shit ever.
No. And so he's doing a shit job.
This is a nighttime job. Like there's nobody else in the aquarium. He's
kind of like popping his headphones in and he's kind of just like push brooming around.
Push brooming.
He's struggling with that while his van's getting repaired. And he's kind of having a hard time sleeping. But he visits a realtor, Jessica Snell, for info on Simon Brinks and manipulates her by playing up his broken family, and she agrees to help. He's like, I don't know, my dad and my mom disappeared and da-da-da. So she starts to feel bad for him, right? And she's like, all right, fine. I'll help you get a meeting with Simon Brinks. We'll get it. So he meets Avery, who confronts him suspiciously. Eventually, he tells her about his search and what he's trying to do, and she kind of has a soft spot for him. And so she's like, Avery gives him muscle cream and her number. So Tova makes arrangements for selling her house and completing the Charter Village application. And she visits Will and Eric's grave. She realizes that like his middle name is missing from the headstone, and she's like upset about it. She speaks aloud to Will for the first time, telling him that she's selling the house. Like she's sitting there by the graves and she's like, look, this is what's happening. I'm all by myself. I think this is what's best. She stops to buy pens for her application at Shopway, and Ethan tries to dissuade her. He's like, what? You're actually going through this application? Like you really don't need to do that. Afterwards, she stops by the aquarium. She sees Cameron's van and notices the place has not been cleaned to her standards. And So she goes in, she greets the animals, but hears all the commotion at Marcellus's tank. And she's like, what the heck is happening in here? Then we jump to Cameron, and he's struggling to help Marcellus down from a shelf because he escaped the aquarium tank again, and he's out and about, but he's up on a shelf and he's hurt himself, and he doesn't know Cameron, so he's trying to escape from him. Tova walks in. She rescues Marcellus and shocks Cameron with her ease in handling him. They introduce themselves to each other, and she asks Cameron to keep Marcellus's escapes secret to protect him from euthanasia, because if they find out that he's in a facility, they're going to kill him. So Cameron unknowingly quotes Shakespeare, which Tova recognizes as one of Eric's favorites. Now they finally have this interaction. Tova recalls immigrating from Sweden with her family as a child. And so she observes Cameron and feels kinship despite the rumors. She begins teaching Cameron her meticulous cleaning methods, which remind her of Eric. She advises Cameron to let Marcellus let him be during his escapes, and she decides to help Cameron bond with Marcellus. And she's like, if you do this right, I'll teach you how to have a better relationship with Marcellus. Yeah. And so he's like, all right. So Marcellus, we jumped his perspective, and he critiques human ignorance and contrasts it with his pride and knowledge. He observes a father and a son who aren't genetically related, notes physical similarities between Tova and Cameron, concluding that they're blood relatives. He's like, these two really look alike. Now I'm noticing that why his little walk looked so familiar to me. Like they have to be related.
Yeah. He's so smart that he can look at this father son and be like, yeah, you guys aren't actually related.
Yeah.
That's not your daddy, little boy.
That's going to be a secret that you guys are going to have to find out.
Yeah. Or he can look at Cameron and Tova and know they are related.
Yeah.
Even though they don't know it.
Right. So Cameron follows a new lead on Simon Brinks, asks Avery to join, but she deflects. Reflecting on enjoying work at the aquarium and his growing bond with Tova, Ethan joins him on a trip to track down Simon. Cameron notices Ethan's crush on Tova, and they find Brinks's address in an abandoned lot, and the car gets stuck, and Cameron helps Ethan free it, impressing him with his instincts. Tova attends Marianne's farewell party with the Nitwits. Adam Wright and partner Sandy inquire about her house. Tova admits she's selling and moving to Charter Village, and her friends are just like beside themselves. But Tova insists she won't be a burden, and she's like, just let me do this. I'm not going to let you guys take care of me as an old lady.
Oh, because Mary Ann is leaving the town to go move in with her daughter.
Yes.
So, like, they're all doing retiree things.
Old person things.
But they're just like, oh, you don't have
Senior.
family to move into. It's so sad. Don't go there. That's a death sentence.
Yes. And Tova's like, no, I'm not going to let somebody else take care of me. I'm just going to go into this village. I can do it myself. It's going to be fine.
Right.
So Adam recalls Eric dying while impressing a girl on a boat, and Tova leaves shaken. She's like, wait, there was a girl on that boat? Like, how come nobody knew about that? And nobody said anything.
He was alone on his final trip.
She didn't know. And she's like, why wouldn't he have told me about this girl that he was maybe dating? So she hears this like little tidbit of her son's death, and it just kind of like rocks her world.
And this is like, he's been dead for like 30 years.
Yes, it's been a
However
while.
old Cameron is how long Eric's been gone.
Yes. So Cameron takes a paddleboard lesson with Avery and meets her teenage son, Marco. Notice parallels between Avery's parenting and his own past with Katie. He learns more about Avery's life and her compassion for a suicidal woman at the pier. And so he shares about his own family, and Avery suggests his mother tried to give him a better life. Like, she disappeared because she wanted him to have a better life than what she could provide, right? And Cameron falls in the water, and Avery helps him. They plan to spend more time together. They're like talking, and he sucks at paddleboarding, so he falls into the water. And then they are like kind of liking each other, so they decide to spend more time together, and that ends my chumps.
And then we jump into my chumps. Chapters 40 through 57. After this lunch, she's struggling with the revelation that Eric had a girlfriend. She receives a call from Jessica with an offer on her house, and we could close it quickly, and paperwork is gonna follow. Continuing to reflect on Eric's girlfriend while working with Cameron, she asks about his search for his father. Tova encourages Cameron to connect with Marcellus. Marcellus is like playful, interacts with Cameron. He's like tricking him and taps him on the like wrong shoulder. Cameron, and she's like, he got you, you're dumb. And so Marcellus is growing on Cameron, or Cameron is growing on Marcellus, really. Tova tells Cameron how Marcellus once returned her missing key. They argue about work, they reconcile, and then Cameron admits he never knew his mother and mentions Aunt Jean. Marcellus, and from his perspective again, reflects on Tova and Cameron's bond, and he wants to use his treasures to somehow help bring them together and give Tova closure. You know, he knows that his time is coming to an end, but he also knows that Tova is leaving. So Tova sorts through belongings for her move back at her house. She's separated things into like a keep pile, a donate pile, and a discard pile, which the smallest pile is going to be the keep pile. She invites people to come over her house to help her sort through this by like offering pizza or something. So she goes to Shopway, Sandy, Adam's partner from the lunch, and Sandy reveals what she had like driven down the house, like down the new community that they built, trying to hopefully Adam will be out there and she can ask more questions about the girlfriend that Eric had. She runs into Sandy, Adam's partner, at the Shopway. Sandy reveals Eric's girlfriend's name. She's like, he remembered it. It's Daphne. So at home, Tova goes through Eric's yearbook, trying to find Daphne, and finds Daphne Cassmore. Cameron worries about Tova's absence and ties Marcellus's tank shut because he doesn't want to deal with Marcellus tonight. He talks with Elizabeth, who's on pregnancy bed rest, and mentions Avery. Terry interrupts, reminding Cameron about employment paperwork, and Cameron struggles with the copy machine and then just ends up leaving the license on top of Terry's desk because he needs to make a copy of it for the paperwork. Marcellus easily escapes the tank despite Cameron's not. He goes and he like sneaks in to the office and he retrieves Cameron's license. He's not even trying to get food tonight. He's just getting the license. He takes it and he hides it under the sea lion statue, which is where he knows Tova will find it because she's the only one that wipes under there. And so the return journey is exhausting, but he deems it worth the risk. Ethan remembers Cameron's surname, Cassmore, from a bounce check by Daphne Cassmore. He overhears slightly the conversation between Tova and Sandy in the grocery store, and she says Daphne, and then he remembers Daphne and Cameron's surname Casimir. Like he remembers Daphne Casimir on a check that was for like $6 or something like that.
Because he would like post any type of check that gets kicked back. He would put it up as like a shame.
The people, when he bought the store, they
right.
had all these old checks of like, don't accept checks from these people. They've bounced.
Yes.
And so Ethan was like, this is kind of cruel. And this poor girl who only wrote a check for $6 and like some measly amount bounced, and now she's not allowed to buy groceries anymore. Like that just seems harsh. And that's why it like sticks out in his head, is because it was such a small amount. He remembers the name Daphne Casimir. He worries about Tova finding out. He doesn't think that they're family, but he thinks that the connection,
you're looking for this person and this
who might have been involved in your son's death, and he's related to her.
Yes.
So Ethan, he's just worried about it, and he wants to tell her over dinner. Cameron is grateful for Ethan's food, but discards expired
because
items.
Ethan takes the expired items, and it's like, they're not that expired. They're still good.
Yeah. Because he's like, it's like really the sell-by date, not the expiration date. So he gets a ton of food, really, because of it. He's like, I don't have to buy groceries at all because Ethan keeps giving me these expired items. He pays Aunt Jean back fully with his paycheck, and she says it was too much. And he talks about how he paid her back with interest, and he actually like researched and figured out how much she would have gotten if she had put it into some sort of savings, high-yield savings account or something. Jean insists that Simon Brinks can't be his father. They're on the phone, and Aunt Jean is a little bit tipsy. It sounds like she's called him really late, telling him it's too much. And he's like, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then she has a boy over. I don't remember his name though.
Oh yeah.
Like Wally or something.
Or an old man.
Yeah.
Not a boy.
Yeah. But he's got a guy lover over. Because when he's at her house and because she's a hoarder, right? The like papers knock over and he's like sees her doctor's stuff, and she's got a prescription for freaking syphilis or something.
Yes, chlamydia or something.
Some sort of STD.
He's like, when did you get
He's
this?
Like, ew, grandma. Grandma, it's not grandma, but
it's basically like his mom is the woman who raised him.
Yes.
And she's got the clap.
And she was like 10 years older than her sister, so she's a bit older. Yeah, she's got the clap. So, and she's like, you tell, because he's like, why don't you use protection? She's like, you tell Wally that, or whatever his name is. So now he's over, and he can hear her talking to him. He's like, just please leave me alone now. I'm going back to sleep. I don't want to hear all this. But she does mention that she like insists that Simon Brinks can't be his father because Daphne wouldn't have kept them apart. Tova then visits Ethan for dinner, and she insists it's not a date. She notices Ethan's house is full of music memorabilia. There's all kinds of like band posters and Def Leppard and like stuff on the walls. It feels much more like a bachelor pad than it does an old man's well-lived-in home. Cameron barges in. He's upset about Ethan gossiping about his mother. While Ethan distracts Cameron, he goes in and talks to Cameron in another room. Tova decides, I'm going to clean up the kitchen. She thought it was very nice that he made her dinner, but she's like, I'm going to clean up as to show my appreciation. And she's looking for, which I want to know where he keeps his sponges, because she's like looking for some sort of rag or something to clean up dinner. She can't find anything. She opens up the bottom underneath the sink, and she finds like this old rag, but it ends up being a very rare t-shirt.
Which, why would you keep it there?
Right? That's what I mean. Like, where are your cleaning supplies? And he talks about, you mean the closet underneath the sink? And she's like, you mean the cabinet where cleaning supplies go? But it's like this rare shirt that it was somebody's, I don't even remember who.
It was a band t-shirt
from the
And he bought it at the show.
Yes. And it was the last show they ever played together because shortly after the lead singer died. And it was a whole thing. And he's like, wine stains come out of shirts, right? She's like, maybe with bleach. He's like, wouldn't that ruin the rest of it? She's like, yeah. So she feels horrible, and she leaves in a hurry, even though he's like all worked up, right? All this stuff is happening. Cameron's yelling at him. My band t-shirt is ruined. And so he's trying to like, no, I need to tell you something. And she just takes off because she feels horrible.
Go.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So Tova searches with Janice to replace this old t-shirt, and she finds one, but it's going to cost her $2,000. And it's not going to get there. Like, the shipping's going to be a while. And she's like, no, I need it today. So she decides that she's going to drive in this heavy traffic on the freeway to go pick up this t-shirt. And Janice is really surprised by that. Like, you're going to go by yourself? You're going to drive on the freeway? She's like, I'm not going to tell you I haven't driven on the freeway since before Will passed away. But while she's driving, she receives a call from Charter Village about processing deposit. And she verbally agrees because she's supposed to be moving within the next 30 days. Tova arrives late to the aquarium and tells Cameron about the t-shirt trip. Cameron suggests an email for her to move. Like she should create herself an email because because for the t-shirt, in order for her to get the t-shirt, she couldn't purchase the t-shirt because she didn't have an email set up. So he's like, you should get an email because it'll be a good way for you to communicate.
Yeah.
Tova insists that she can't date after having been with Will for so long, her late husband. And despite Cameron asking about Ethan, because he's like, clearly he's into you. At the sea lion statue, she finds Cameron's license and she realizes Daphne is his mother. She tells Cameron about Eric and asks where Daphne is. Like, she's like, can you please get a hold of Daphne? Like, I want to talk to her. And Cameron's like, I haven't seen my mom or heard from her since I was young. And she even asks, not even a birthday card or anything. And it like hurts his heart a little bit because he's like, I've asked myself those same things all my life. Tova thinks of Cameron possibly being Eric's son, but finds it unlikely. I don't think it's even something that she considers, honestly. Like none of them. It's like they're so...
I think she recognizes the last name and she's just like, it doesn't...
She knows that Daphne is his mom, but she doesn't think that...
Like, there's no way my son would have had a pregnant girlfriend and not told me.
Yeah, I don't even think it's not even a thought almost, right? Like
she
just
it's like,
moves
it's
past
so
it. Like,
impossible.
I want to know what happened with my son, and she might know something because she was possibly with him.
Yes.
She visits with Kat. She's sad that she can't bring Kat to Charter Village now that she's created this relationship with Kat. She has lunch with Janice, who questions Charter Village and encourages a relationship with Ethan. Like, just go hook up with that guy.
Do you, boo-boo?
Yeah. Tova insists that she lacks family, and she's unlike her friends. You all have someone who can take care of you. And I'm definitely not going to ask Ethan to take care of me. I don't know him like that. I don't want him like that. I was in a long-time relationship with my husband. I'm not interested. Tova finalizes the sale of her house, and she imagines a large family moving in, which is what her dad wanted for the house, was lots of kids. And this family has lots of kids. She's like, maybe even more will come down the road. Cameron, it's laundry day. And he's like, Tova must be seeping into my brain a little bit because laundry day is not something I've ever said before, but now today is laundry day. So he's doing laundry on laundry day in Ethan's house. He's playing the guitar, and Ethan appears in professional attire for an interview. He's interviewing someone for the store. It's a management position, so he's like kind of dressed up for it. Cameron's upset that he's not even being considered for this management position. They have an argument about Ethan's gossip and Daphne, and then Ethan says he wanted to help Tova. He's like, I wanted to help. Cameron's like, I didn't ask for your help. He's like, not you. I wanted to help Tova. Cameron storms out, naps in the van, and then gets a call from Brink's development. He schedules a meeting with Simon, cancels the date with Avery via Marco. So he schedules this meeting. They're like, can you be there at 6? But he's supposed to be paddleboarding at 4 with Avery. So he's like, Avery will understand. It's going to take me a couple hours to get there. I'm going to go straight to the store, cancel this. He goes into the store and her son is there working. Marco makes a comment like, oh, so you're just blowing her off? And he's like, no, I'm here to tell her. Like, she'll understand. Can you relay the message if she's not here? Marco's like, yeah, sure, I will. Cameron meets Simon in a Seattle bar. It's like a speakeasy. It's hidden in the basement. Simon reveals the bar was built for Daphne. Cameron asks if Simon is his father, which he doesn't. He's like, why didn't you care about me? He's like, of course I cared about you. And he's like, you're my dad. You should have been there. And he's like, I'm definitely not your dad. Like, Daphne and I were best friends, but we were not that kind of friendship.
We were not intimate.
Yeah. And Cameron thinks like, I want to believe you, but I want to fight you. But I think about Brad and Elizabeth and how my Aunt Jean is always like, you should have wound up with Elizabeth. And he's like, that it wasn't like that for us. So he kind of understands the relationship between his mom and Simon. They were best friends, and that's all it was. He shows Cameron his own class ring because he's like, really, who's this? Eels, is this you? And he's like, no, here's mine. I'll take a swab test if you want me to really prove it.
Yeah.
But here's my class ring. I still have it. And he shows Cameron his own class ring with the initials son of a bitch. SOB, which is Simon, I don't know what his middle name is, Brinks.
Orenthal Brink.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Orenthal?
I don't know.
Oh,
Simon Owen.
Olive.
I don't think they say, actually, because I was waiting for it. Simon admits he doesn't know who Cameron's father was, that Daphne never told him, which he's like, your mom was very private about certain things. And so I don't know who your father is. Cameron leaves feeling a little bit embarrassed and dejected. Cameron receives messages from Brad about the baby's born. He feels sorry for himself and he scrolls through social media where he sees Katie's ex-girlfriend who has a new partner and she's just living life to the fullest and enjoying summer and whatever. Cameron decides it's time to return home. Like, this was a pointless mission. I'm going home. He gets in his RV, starts taking off. And he's trying to call Avery, but she's not answering him. So he's like,
she's ignoring him time now.
Yes. So Cameron goes to visit and like vents to Tova about all of his failures. He throws the class ring into the wolf eel tank, like, here, eels, right? Because that's the initials on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Eels. And he imagines that this person, whoever's the ring it was, they just loved eels a whole lot. So he's like, go, ring, be with the eels. He announces he's not going to return. Tova's like, you can't just be a no-call, no-show. Like, this is your job. You have responsibilities. And he's like, yes, I can. I've never had to quit because I usually get laid off, but I imagine this is how I would do it. Right? So he like writes Terry a note and leaves it on the desk. But Tova keeps trying to reason with him.
And then we jump into the final act, chapters 58 through 66. Marcellus recalls being attacked by a wolf eel in the wild and lost an arm during the battle.
He's
of
like
the death.
willing to risk it because he thinks that will be the answer.
So after Tova leaves, he enters the wolf eel tank and retrieves the ring. He succeeds, avoiding the eels, and returns to his tank exhausted. Janice and Barb bring Tova a retirement cake, and Kat settles with Barb, and Tova encourages her to take him.
She's like, but I'm a dog person.
She's like, well, apparently not.
The cat really likes you. Barb.
At the aquarium, Tova says goodbye to the sea creatures, but notices that Marcellus is missing, and she discovers him on the floor, revives him in a mop bucket, and sees the class ring with Eric's initials on it. Tova realizes Marcellus was trying to tell her the truth. She cries by his side and takes him to the ocean. She's like, if you're gonna go, little guy, I'm gonna set you free. So she thanks him for reuniting him with Cameron, and deciding not to move to Charter Village, she releases Marcellus into the sea. Tova sits alone by the water. Avery joins her, and they discuss Cameron and Marco. Avery recalls talking someone down from suicide who turns out to be Daphne, and Tova realizes Eric's death was an accident caused by the sailboat boom, not by suicide.
Because that's when Daphne was talking about.
She just kept
the
mumbling.
boom and,
yeah.
Right. And she's like, I imagine that whoever she was talking about dying, like maybe, or that she was in the military or something and in the war. And
Yeah.
It's really, the whole scene right here is really a beautiful scene. Her realizing that Marcellus has been trying to tell her that Eric's son is Cameron, and you've been with your grandchild, like you guys are related.
Yes.
And she realizes like, oh, that heart-shaped dimple, it's the same one that I loved on Eric. And like she has this like moment. It's just like, and it's so really well written.
Cameron repairs his van after it broke down on the road and feels proud because he figured it out himself. And after napping in the van, he decides, I'm going to drive back to Sol Bay. Tova cleans and prepares her home for the sale, and Cameron shows up and apologizes, and Tova admits Terry doesn't know that he quit. She took the letter from his desk.
Yeah,
so
she's like, I had a feeling you were going to be back. That wasn't you.
Yeah. Tova gives him the class ring and shows him Eric's old room, and they find Eric's hidden snacks and Tova's broken Dala horse that Eric had fixed. He had broken one of like her little Swedish memorabilia, little horse, and he repaired it before he passed.
Horse. But it was like hidden under, Cameron has all this knowledge of construction because that's what he's mostly done. He's like, why do you have a different piece of wood right here? Like something's going on. And he's able to like just take a key and pop it up. And it's like all these like old gross snacks, but also this horse
that he fixed. Then it jumps back to Marcellus, who swims free in the ocean, and he swims down and finds Eric's body and lies with it, ready for his own death. He feels grateful to return home and hopes the next aquarium octopus will be treated kindly. Because there is another octopus that they caught, and it's being transported back.
She was badly injured. They're trying to fix her up. And
yeah, she's being brought to that aquarium. Cameron leaves the aquarium job and works as a contractor, making plans for college. Aunt Jeannie has a new life. Brad and Elizabeth plan to visit. Cameron, Tova, and Ethan celebrate Thanksgiving together. And Ethan wears a long-delayed moth sausage shirt. They visit the aquarium where a new octopus statue stands. Tova now volunteers there, and they return to Tova's home for dessert with Avery. And that's where we end Remarkably Bright Creatures.
All right, do we want to rate this book?
Let's do it to it.
Every book we review, we do it on a 3-shot system. 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots, it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots, it got me up. So dumb. Well, a year later, and we're still laughing about it.
Still giggling about it. You toddlers. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
You giggled too. Fix your pull-up when you talk to me that way.
I take Huggies, all right?
Oh, excuse me.
All right. So for me, I really love this book and I'm rating it a 3. I re-listened to this. So, okay. I knew that I really liked it as soon as I left. Like, as soon as I closed the book, I really enjoyed it. I say close, but I listened to it. As soon as I pushed pause, I really knew I loved it.
Exit.
Yeah, exactly. But then we haven't recorded for a little while. Like, I read this a long time before recording today. And so I thought, it really didn't stick with me. It's more of a, maybe it's not like a 3, but I re-listened to it in preparing for recording and I just fell in love with it all over again. I really like it, so I'm sticking with a 3.
I like it. I had similar thoughts to what, like, you were echoing what I was actually thinking in my head. After listening to it, I thought, that was a really good book. Like, so sweet.
Yes.
It was so different than I anticipated. So I think it was because I'm still over here raw dogging all the books.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's right. I sent her a TikTok the other day because it was like talking about like not reading any description or knowing anything about a book. And I was like, I'm raw dogging this book. And I was like, that's how I will describe your method of reading from now on is raw dogging. Raw dogging our TBR.
I'm still raw dogging the TPR. And I wasn't fully prepared for what it was about, right? I knew that there was like a weird perspective because we had kind of talked about it. It was good. And then it's been a minute. And so as we're going through the chumpies, I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, it's not resonating like it did the first time.
Right.
So rethinking some of these moments, I'm like, oh yeah, that was really sweet. So I am torn between the 2 and 3, but I'm going to go with 3 because I feel like if I were to re-listen to it, I would probably still really enjoy it like I did the first time.
Even knowing how it ended, I think it was like just the moment when we talked about how beautiful it was when she realized that it was her grandson. And it was just like, it brought back all the feels. Yeah.
It wasn't what I expected as far as like their relationship. I knew they were going to be related, but I didn't think it was going to be her grandmother. I don't know. I thought like maybe like a distant relative of some sort. They just happened to knew the same people, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, 3 shots for rocks.
Wowzers.
Yeah, it was good. Good pick.
I really liked Marcellus's perspective. I thought it was a sweet book, but it wasn't a 3 for me. I'm giving it a 2.
Okay.
I thought it was a sweet story, but I kind of struggled. I thought it was slow. I struggled through a little bit of it.
Some of it was slow. I will agree with that.
So
I feel like it has similar vibes when I'm reading like a Kristen Hanna book. It's a little bit slower, but it's really beautifully written. There are parts when it's slow, but then it's like also really good.
Okay.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. We've soaked in the quiet magic, unexpected connections, and tender moments of Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. It's a story that reminds us how healing can come from the most unlikely places. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. We're here for you every Wednesday. And don't forget, the prompts for this book are already posted and waiting for your thoughts before we gather for the book club next week.
Yeah. If this book reminded you that even the smallest, strangest friendships can change everything, rate and review us. It's like sending a message in a bottle, and trust us, we love opening them.
If you enjoyed this episode on Remarkably Bright Creatures, keep swimming with us by following @LitOnTheRocksPod on Instagram and TikTok, and visit literatureontherocks.com for more literary conversations worth savoring.
Until next time, may your friendships surprise you and your cocktails be as comforting as a late night conversation with an octopus. Cheers!
Toodaloo!
Bye.